Please welcome the exceptionally talented, truly original Todd Haynes.
Love this. Thank you. Julie, thank you so much for those incredibly sweet words, and to the IFP for this very moving honor. I wrote a little speech. When I graduated college, my plan was to grab an MFA and start teaching. I didn't really see a market for the kinds of films I wanted to make, and that was fine with me. But something funny happened on the way to the Collective for Living Cinema, if anyone remembers the Collective for Living Cinema. Many things, in fact, that just go to show how interdependent filmmaking always is, particularly under the banner of independence. In fact, it was here 25 years ago at the Independent Feature Project that my first feature, Poison, had its world premiere, though we didn't really think in those terms back then. We were just astounded to be premiering at the IFP, one of the leading markets for independent film, with a distributor already attached. Nancy Gersman and Emily Russo had only started Zeitgeist Films a couple years prior and were admirers of my Karen Carpenter film Superstar, which couldn't be distributed due to a few legal problems. But based on that 43-minute Barbie biopic, they signed on to this AIDS-era trilogy inspired by the writings of Jean Genet and saw it for the first time that winter at the IFP. Superstar had indeed opened many doors for me, being the first film of mine to be shown anywhere, really, though never at the Collective for Living Cinema, the first to be reviewed by critics, and perhaps most fortuitously of all, after Christine Vachon saw a cut of the film in my Brooklyn apartment on a rented Steenbeck, the film that made her want to become a producer, my producer. Poison, yep, the luckiest director in the world. Poison, which was financed more like a visual arts project than a feature film, went on to Sundance, where it would win the grand prize in '91, attract the eager consternation of the conservative right, and help kick off a brief flourishing of films fueled by the AIDS crisis and a newly emboldened queer activism that would change the course of that epidemic and the lives of gays and lesbians in the process. Indeed, my plans for an MFA and a teaching job had taken an unexpected turn. And it would continue these twists and turns, though without the alignment of a few crucial forces, there may never have been a second feature or any thereafter, for all I know. And the first of these forces was Christine. And what a force. Partner, friend, champion. Christine simply refused to take no for an answer as we peddled this new script of mine around, the story of a woman with an illness that could not be cured, which began to feel like a film that could not be cured until Julianne Moore walked in the door. Hot on the heels of Altman's Shortcuts, she'd read the script and flown herself to New York to read for SAFE. And this would begin to create a partnership that would distinguish and elevate my work, and that other actors would follow, expanding the reach of my films and the breadth of their roles, if not the sheer efficacy of getting these projects off the ground. But it all began with Julie, extraordinary and fearless, and that's certainly something that occurs every time we work together. Finally, I think it really was the press who first left screenings of SAFE scratching their heads, but who for some reason returned to the film and in many cases came around, ultimately calling it one of their favorites for some of them of that year, but who've continued to engage with my work, film after film, helping to bring each one into discussion. This engaged and invested critical community, reflecting artists and audiences alike, defined these times for independent film. I know how much my career owes to that community, to these actors and my producer, to all my creative partners. And those years we were all lucky enough to know firsthand. And of course, to a love of and a commitment we all share to independent visions, however and wherever they emerge. So each new film still strips me down, knocks me around, and reminds me of who I am. And that's a regiment for life, for a creative life I will never take for granted. Thank you again to the Gothams for this awesome reminder. Thank you.